G'day guys, Pat here from Cruising Time. Hope you all been doing alright. Got a couple of big jobs to do on the cruiser this weekend. She's getting close to 100,000 Ks now, so we've got an intake manifold clean to do. Going to pull that off and hopefully clean a few things out that's built up over the years. We've got a HPD oil catch can to install, and we've also got a valve adjustment to do, so let's get stuck in with it. Rightio guys, so this is our intake manifold here. This is what we'll be removing eventually. You can see there's a fair bit of stuff in the way, a couple of wires, a couple of pipes, some fuel lines, a few other bits and pieces. We've got our crossover pipe over here as well that we're going to have to remove. A few bits and pieces off the intake on that side as well. So yeah, a little bit going on here. Stay tuned and let's hook in. Alright guys, we've got the crossover pipe off. As you can see, the turbo's down there, intake's over here. Now that we've got it off, you can actually see how bad it is in there. Now I'm trying to hold the light as best as possible, but you can see there's quite a bit of a build up in there already. So keen to get this off and clear all that gunk out. Alright guys, we're getting close to getting the manifold off here now. We've got a couple of fuel lines here that we are going to have to remove to get this manifold off. One huge tip I will give you is using a paint pen. Make some marks on these lines in relation to where they go. So I'm going to start at the front of the motor with number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll just make it a lot easier when you're trying to figure out where these pipes are going back on when you're reassembling the motor. So just a little mark on each one. The paint pen is going to make your life a hell of a lot easier when you're putting one of these back together. Six marks, there we go, done. Takes less than a minute, and yeah, it's going to be great putting it back together. There you have it guys, she's off. Alrighty, so I've just finished cleaning out the intake, and it was a bloody messy job, as you can probably see by my face. I'm covered in crap. Same with my hands, arms, it's everywhere. But if you have a look at the intake, she's looking a hell of a lot better. Now, I don't know if you can see in there too well, but shine a light, looking a lot cleaner. Now I did end up getting the gurney on it, giving it a good water blast in there. It's definitely come up a lot cleaner now, so time to let it dry, and then we'll start putting it back together. Alright guys, we've got the intake manifold off and we've given it a clean out, got a lot of that crap out as you would have seen. It's over there drying in the sun, as you can see, because I did get the gurney into it, which worked really bloody well. So while I've got it all apart, I'm doing the valve clearances as well while I'm here. So see, I've taken the rocker cover off there, and I've got the feeler gauge in, checking the clearances as we go. Now there is a factory kind of guide from Toyota to do this, which I'm following along closely. So yeah, let's see how we go. Alright, so I'll try to give you guys a close-up here of what we're doing. So I've obviously already cracked that locking nut there. I'm going to go ahead and get my vice grips, stick them on this bottom one here, lock that in, get the spanner on, crack that nut there. Just go ahead and back that off a little bit there. Alright, you can see I've got the feeler gauge in there. You can see there's some decent amount of movement in there. We want to get rid of that. We want to make that a little bit tighter. So start by adjusting this one. While you're adjusting it, you're moving your gauge back and forth. I can feel that's picking up a decent amount of tension there. So I'm going to go ahead and lock it off there. Tighten it up with my fingers. And then go ahead and tighten it up with the spanner. Alright, so now we just need to tweak our fine adjustment here on the bridge. They call this the bridge here. So I'm going to just tighten that ever so slightly so I get a decent amount of resistance in there, which I'm starting to feel now. Back it off a little bit. About there is where we want it. So I'm going to put our vice grips back on. And we're just going to nip this up. Get a feel of this as well. And that's a good amount of resistance in there. So I'll lock that off there. Remove the vice grips. And yeah, that's a solid amount of resistance that we're getting in there, which is exactly what we want. All right, we'll move on to the next one. Alright, so we're all done with the valve clearances here now. A couple of things I should probably mention to help you guys out is, you see I've put some markings here on each of these little rockers, just to help me remember which ones have been done and which ones need to be done, because if you have a look at the manual here, you can see you've got to start with one side and then the other side. Now, between the two sides, you do need to rotate your crank 180 degrees, and that'll change which valves are under pressure and which ones are free. And you obviously want to be adjusting the ones that are free. You can see the movement there in that one, whereas this one here is quite solid because it's being pushed down by the camshaft at the moment. So make sure you do that. It is in the instructions here. Pretty easy to spin that crank around and line her up. All right, let's get the cover back on. So guys, you can see we've mounted the catch cam there, HPD. It's got a nice little bracket that sits in between your brake fluid reservoir there and your brake booster. It's got a couple of hoses here, that one, a short one and a long one. Just going to remove this hose here from the crankcase into our airbox there. Get rid of that. And let's get these ones in. I'm going to need 2 hands for this. Right guys, there it is, all plumbed in. See there, hopefully stops the sludge build up again. It's been a bloody big day on this thing. Hopefully this will really help it perform a lot better in future. I'm sure I'll keep you posted.